Previously unseen footage shows the real-life Tarzan experiencing civilization for the first time after surviving in the Vietnamese wilderness for 4 decades. Ho Van Lang died aged 52 in September following his reintegration into mainstream society after surviving 41 years in the jungle with his father, who fled in 1972 when U.S. carpet bombing during the Vietnam War killed half his family. The pair re-established contact with Vietnamese society in 2013 and believed the Vietnam War was still raging on when they entered a village and sought medical help for Lang's father, Ho Van Ton. After 2013, Lang began living a relatively modern lifestyle, but some friends and observers believe the stresses and poor diet of the civilized world had a detrimental effect on his health. Now, remarkable footage has emerged showing a shocked Lang's first impression of the ocean and his puzzled reaction when taking to the skies for the first ever time. Video of Ho Van Lang's first encounters with everyday interactions have gone viral on social media after it was shared by his friend and filmmaker Alvaro Cerezo. In the clips, a visibly stunned Lang is seen with glazed eyes as he stares out of the window of the aircraft for the first time. In later footage, he beams with joy as he walks along a beach and watches the ocean waves gently roll back and forth, pointing with amazement as he creeps closer to the water. Lang had lived a remarkable life and made headlines across the globe, but Alvaro Cerezo, an explorer who returned to the jungle with Lang to live there for a week together, believes discovering modern life probably had fatal consequences for the real-life Tarzan. Cerezo said, "I'm so sad to see him go. But for me his passing is also a liberation because I know he was suffering in the last months. He was a beautiful human being. To forget him will be impossible. I will miss him every day. But I didn't like seeing him living in civilization. I was always concerned that he and his body wouldn't be able to handle such a drastic change. He had spent all his life living in the jungle and then came to live in the civilized world where he started eating processed foods and sometimes even drinking alcohol." Cerezo met Lang 2 years later through his work with Decastaway, an organization which helps people who want to escape from civilization and spend a few days or weeks completely alone on a desert island. During their friendship, Cerezo recorded on camera some of Lang's most vulnerable, emotional and beautiful moments, including his time in the jungle, adapting to civilized life and returning to the wild. Cerezo also wrote a book about Lang's life, and has now compiled a montage of footage he took when the pair lived together deep in the jungle. He said, 2 years after he was brought back to civilization, I went to look for Ho Van Lang at his village to see if he would teach me some new survival techniques that I could apply on the desert islands. I always say that the best survival teachers are to be found among the tribes. Earlier this year, Lang's remarkable story went public as it emerged the father-son duo lived for decades in the forest of what is now known as the Tra Bong district before they were found by locals looking for firewood. Authorities say Lang's older brother Ho Van Tri encouraged the pair to return to civilization when Ton's health began to deteriorate in 2013. He died of an unknown cause in 2017. The family elder Ton once lived a normal life with his family in the hamlet of Tra Kem before the Vietnam War. After fleeing, the pair survived in the wilderness by foraging fruit and cassava from the forest and planting corn. They wore loincloths made out of tree bark, and lived in a timber hut raised 5 meters above the ground. When the foragers saw the 2 jungle men from a distance acting abnormally, they alerted local authorities. Officials set up a team to track them down, and found them in August 2013 after a 5-hour search. The father could speak a little of the minority core language, but the son knew only a few words. The pair then underwent medical checkups as a first step to being reintegrated into mainstream society. Lang made an emotional return to his former home in July 2016.